Welcome to Scenic Views, everybody. I'm Gio. Okay, so this is an on-the-fly reaction. We are at Barnes & Noble's. Why are we at Barnes & Noble's? Well, I just feel like if we're going to talk about my favorite anime and manga, we got to go to the source material because, as you could already see, I wasn't feeling the movie. But we're going to get into it. Let's go. Let's get into the positives before we get into the negatives. First of all, really quick, cinematography was done really well. The acting for the most part, was believable. Nat Wolff, there was parts where he hit his mark as an actor. There was other parts where I was not a fan of it. Lakeith, what's his name? Lakeith Stanfield. Great L. He did, I think, by far one of my favorite actors in the overall thing. I forget the girl's name who played Mia. She did pretty good as well. So the acting was pretty good. Lakeith, in my opinion, was the highlight of the movie. His acting. But was Elle the highlight of the movie? No. Not really. But the actor did a good job. Now, as far as the look of it, like I said, I really liked the look. The score wasn't bad. And it was pretty cool. But for me, sometimes it bounced between, I wasn't sure what the tone was going for. I know they were trying to make an anime movie, but it bounced from dramatic to silly at times, and the tone just didn't seem consistent. So that kind of, I know I said I was gonna do positives, but it really looks like we're getting into the negatives already because I really don't have a lot of positives. I really tried liking this movie, guys. I really did. Same old thing. Day after day. What a bore. This world is a rotten mess. That's Ryuk, right? That's what Ryuk is saying. See, now originally this opens up with a bored death god who is just really bored. So in the anime, the catalyst comes from this death god who really is bored and he wants to get a rise out of humanity a little bit, and he wants to see, he wants some entertainment, and humanity has always been fascinating to him. That's kind of what we get from that's not really in the dialogue, but that's what we know from the anime. So a Death Note, for those who don't know, is a book where a death god owns, he writes the name, and whoever's name and how they die is written in the book. That's what happens. That's the Cliff Note version. In the movie, or in here, we see that Light is at school, he's bored, and the book falls from the sky, and he notices it outside, and then he goes, gets it. But the movie opens up with a different version of Light. Here, it seemed like they attempted to paint Light as this very bored, brilliant kid who does everybody's homework. And it opened up pretty cool. Like you believed it. And then the tone switched a little bit, and then he just seemed like this nerdy kid who just gets beat up, and I just wasn't buying it. Now his motivation in the movie or in the anime is the fact that Ryuk gives him the book, and Light wants to do good. He wants to do good in this world because there's a lot of bad, and he's bored. That's really what he is. He is a bored, brilliant kid. Did that translate over to the screen? Not as much. But in the movie, Light's main motivation is that his mother was killed, and the murderer, or whether accidental or purposeful, I don't know. I don't think they ever specified. I could be wrong. Shows how much attention I paid. I was really trying to pay attention, guys. But the murderer is free. His dad is a cop, and he knows about it, and he's like, how come you don't do nothing about it? And the dad is like, you don't think I'm doing anything about it? And there's this really deep scene that takes place, and the dad really delivers this one line, and it's really believable. And that was pretty much the extent of Light's believability, I guess, to some degree. Like, it just goes back and forth. Nat Wolff just didn't really nail it for me. Or maybe I just wanted an Asian version of this movie that bad. I don't know. So as I said, the movie's motivation was that Light's mother died, and so that was his motivation. But Ryuk in the anime was really the motivation. Now I know this sounds a lot like I'm comparing the two, but when you have the source material, that's what I'm judging this off of.
by a movie itself, it was pretty good, but it missed out on a lot of things. Like, for example, the dynamic between Ryuk and Light. Light is this man who really or this young man who wants to do things because he wants to make good in the world come to be. He wants to do it because there's a lot of bad in the world. And so through Ryuk, Light is constantly questioning the moral convention, constantly questioning his morals, and he starts doing questionable things, all that he thinks is right. And that's ultimately what makes for a beautiful reveal, is that he is that scary villain because he thinks what he's doing is actually right. Whereas Ryuk is just really getting a kick. He doesn't care about Light at all. He's just using Light for some entertainment because he was bored in the realm of the gods. Now, L, on the other hand, is this really cool layered character that is brilliant. And while the acting that was done by Lakeith was really, really well done, I feel like that wasn't the L that really created the perfect foil for Light. This smart individual who's always a step behind or a step ahead in this mental chess game between Light and himself. And in this movie, that's not the L I got. I got more of an emotional L. We didn't see too much of that banter back and forth between them. We just saw more of an L who wanted to get rid of him after Light kind of tricked him. And while there was cases of that in the anime, I just don't remember that being the L who was really grounded in logic and who was really trying to play this mental chess game. Now let's also talk about Mia. Missed opportunity. She's supposed to be this famous girl who everybody loves, but she's obsessed with this egomaniac Light. But here she's a cheerleader who's bored, who's smoking cigarettes on the field. Is she popular? Is she not? I just feel like it was just overused. It was that overused theme of kids, cool, campus, smoking cigarettes, they don't really care. It was a missed opportunity. And quite honestly, to kill her off is pointless. Spoiler alert, they kill her off. Why? That character could have been used so much better if you're gonna aim for a sequel. And I just feel like it was a waste of time. I was not surprised at all that she took the book. I wasn't surprised that she did those deaths of the agents. I wasn't surprised at all. So for that to be a major plot twist, wasn't a major. I saw that coming from a mile away. What was a major plot twist was Light being a step ahead of her and really planning all that out. That was the first and few glimpses that we get to see at Light's brilliance. And I think while Nat Wolff tried, they just didn't capture who Light. I think that's it. I figured out my issue with this movie. I think that was my issue with this. It was that in 100 minutes, you failed to really capture who these characters really were. You failed to capture the brilliance of Light and the brilliance of L. We saw glimpses of it, but we really didn't marinate enough on them. I feel that Mia was misused. She's actually a vital asset to Light. And in this, we just see that she had her own motives. She wanted to be in charge of the book because Light, and there was too much going on. Ryuk was done pretty well. I think William Dafoe did a phenomenal job with the voice. Of course, you never can discount him. But then outside of that, the animation of him or the CGI sometimes was hit or miss. And it just overall, I think in 100 minutes, you missed an opportunity. And so if I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 5, I would give it a 1.5, and that's being generous. As a movie, objectively, it was pretty good, but for somebody who's a fan of the source material, I think you missed the mark. 100 minutes is not enough time to really tell a detailed story at all. And then outside of that, I'm trying to like it, I really am, but it wasn't good, guys. It wasn't good. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I mean, there's probably so much more that I missed. But like, comment, subscribe, send us an email. Let me know what you guys think. But honestly, this is an on-the-fly reaction, and I've got nothing else left for you other than the fact that Netflix, I'm disappointed. Death Note, give it an F. Give it an F.